Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Down to Earth Astronomy. We're once again playing Fractured Space, and this time we're looking at the new Frontline Gamemode, or not actually new, but re-enabled Frontline Gamemode. You can get into the game mode by opening up the lobby, and at the top you can select which type of games you want to be matched into. I have had a hard time trying to get some actual footage of this gameplay because the queue time currently is horrendous. I mean, it takes, I would say, an average of 15 minutes to get into a game. So it's a long wait just to get into a game that's lasting maybe only 10 minutes. So, but I have managed to get some footage of the game mode, and we're gonna go and jump straight into to the game. Now, an important part of the game here is you cannot select your own ship. Your ship is selected for you. That means that you don't have to actually own the ship. You can get any ship in the game. And initially, as the game is starting, you get a small tooltip box on the screen, as you can see here, where it explains a bit about the ship that you're currently in, and some of the key elements of the ship, because more than likely you are not familiar with the ship. From my point of view, this is both a good and a negative side, because the good part is it's a way to try and discover new games or new ships, because as I talked about earlier in a previous video when I talked about the new update and the way they removed all the experience and the text trees, then I think it can be a little overwhelming for new players to get in and get an overview of the ships and figure out what to go for, because they are not structured anymore, it's just a list of ships. But with the Frontline game mode, you can actually go in and you will be put into a random ship, or not completely random, but you'll put into a fairly random select ship, and so by playing the Frontline game mode you can actually learn some of the different ships and maybe figure out what kind of ships you want to go for. Now I said it wasn't completely random. It looks like to me that because this game selects the ship for you, it's trying to balance the teams a lot more, because that's one of the problems with the current Conquest game mode. It is that because there's so few players playing at the moment, it's hard for the game to actually make a fair team selection, simply because of the limited amount of players available. And of course you cannot, well, people only select the ships after they've been matched, so you cannot really be sure that the teams are that balanced. But yeah, so the game has been playing here in the background, and as you can see, this game mode only consists of one sector. And the sector has a base for each team at either end of the sector, and then 3 cap points in the middle. And the cap points, as you hold them, give you points that level up your team, just as in the Conquest game mode. And you win the game by capping the other team's base, or at the end of the game, when the timer runs out, you will go into sudden death, meaning that you will no longer respawn. So once people die in sudden death mode, they are out of the game for good. And well, last man standing is the winning team. There is some bugs, because in this actual game, at the end, one of the players from the enemy team was disconnected, or he might have disconnected because he died during the sudden death and knew he wouldn't respawn. And because he was suddenly disconnected and no longer dead, we could not actually win the game just by killing all of the enemy ships. We actually had to go and cap. So even though we killed all the enemy ships, we had to go fly across the whole sector and cap the enemy base. So that's a small bug, but I'm sure they will figure out a way to prevent that from happening in the future. Again, the game mode is a lot shorter and a lot more fast-paced. So if you are more into the instant action, get straight in, I think the Frontline Gamemode is for you. But if you, like me, enjoy the tactical elements of trying to figure out what sector should I go to, should I withdraw now, should I push in one side or the other, should I try to preserve my health to get ready for when the Gamma sector opens, and all that kind of stuff, then I suggest you of course go for the Conquest Gamemode. So it's a different kind of play style, but for new players I would actually suggest that you start with the Frontline Gamemode, simply because you get a good idea of the different ships. Of course it might be a bit overwhelming to get put into a high tier ship at the very start, but again, it's a good way to learn which kind of ships are available in the game and maybe figure out what kind of ship you want to save up your credits for. But I think that's my quick overview of the Frontline Gamemode. I hope you find it good, informative. If you did, give it a like down below. Consider subscribing to the channel. This has been Down to Earth Astronomy, and until next time, have a good one.